What are the most challenging economics of the magazine industry? Was the goal to reinvent the business model?
Certainly, that's the goal. Like, I think, most small independent magazine businesses are folding because they're not thinking outside the box. Time is of the essence. There's so much going on. How can you fight for people's attention? What can we make that will actually break through and matter?
Karlie Kloss is many things, but let's start with supermodel. A businesswoman.
I invest in companies and ideas and people I believe in. Money is power.
And she's in the headlines, whether she wants them or not. You and Josh are very private people. Is that intentional?
It is, because we really care about our real life. Like, nobody else deserves access to that.
Did it change when President Trump was elected?
Long before that. As a model, I think it was definitely a line I had to walk.
Now, in her biggest bet yet, she's going from cover girl to media mogul, buying up iconic magazines as the industry fights to survive in a world dominated by digital media.
I think about it like we're running a startup inside a vintage car.
So how does a woman who's graced over 100 covers aim to reinvent this treasured but struggling format and keep reinventing herself?
So what kind of kid were you? Were you the wallflower, the bookworm, the queen bee? I was a total nerd, obviously.
I need your yearbook, I need to meet your teachers, your prom date.
To find out, we're entering her world, a life built in New York City that all began in the Midwest.
You are on the cover of all of these.
Oh, and there's many, many more, but we just don't have time.
So this is your high school. This is Webster Groves High School. I imagine this brings back memories. Oh, so many memories.
You're a 90s baby, so you're down here.
I mean, hopefully, although I think I was in China doing a photo shoot on the Great Wall for Vogue.
As one does.
I would be in here.
So you were on the Great Wall of China while everyone else was in the gym taking a photo. But that's also just such a perfect example of how you held these two worlds.
Oh, it was my life. I wouldn't want it any other way.
Kloss's modeling career happened basically overnight. But back in high school, she was a self-proclaimed nerdy teenager, just trying to get a date to prom.
Is it true that you rejected her?
Rejected is a strong word. Karlie, is that how you would put it?
That is how I would put it.
You did end up going to prom together senior year.
Yes, we did.
And you did end up wearing Dior. I saw that.
I did end up wearing Dior Couture.
So you box checked.
It was beautiful and it was orange, and I got my tuxedo from Men's Warehouse.
Hello. My parents' home.
Thank you to your mom and dad, I should say, for having us here. What was the biggest culture shock when you went into the modeling world?
I think I just was always authentically who I am, which is a girl from the Midwest. Until I was 13 years old, I never flew on an airplane. Like, my family and I drove across country for family vacations. So fast forward to when I'm 15 years old and I have a Cinderella story, truly. Overnight success. I walk in the Calvin Klein New York Fashion Week show and it just puts me on the map in such a crazy way. And so quite quickly at 15, I was jet setting between, the suburbs of St. Louis and Paris, Tokyo, New York.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
They cut a circle into square slices.
You didn't know math would allow it. Here we are. Mom, come. Okay.
Hi, Mom.
I'm introducing her to Emo's Pizza.
As a mom, what was it like for you sending your daughter off to the runway when she was a teenager?
It was exciting. It was such a learning experience, and the world became your classroom.
I imagine you made a lot of money very fast. How did you deal with that?
I started working so young and was so fortunate to sort of make income that I could have never dreamt of. And it really happened around the same time of '08 crisis. And my family was really impacted, as many families in this country were. And we went through bankruptcy and we lost, the roof over our head. And it was an incredibly painful period. I also was beginning my career and was able to support my family, support my sisters through school. And so for me, my career was a way to be able to support the people I cared most about.
My mom saves newspaper clippings and all the things through all the years.
You are on the cover of all of these.
Oh, and there's many, many more, but we just don't have time.
That doesn't, to me, even look like you.
It doesn't even look like me, right?
No.
Can I tell you, that's what being a great model is that you transform. I started modeling at a period where you were seen and not heard. To then the dawn of social media where you can speak your truth, you can build your name into a brand, and models became celebrities. It started to become Karlie and what she has to say, what she's doing, what she stands for.
Yeah. Hi guys, I'm Karlie Kloss, and welcome to my YouTube channel.
With social media, suddenly, Kloss had a platform beyond the runway.
It's New York Fashion Week, and I'm on my way to Michael Kors.
She launched her own YouTube channel at the dawn of the creator economy.
I'm in love. It's perfect.
Started her first business, Karlie's Cookies, which funded over 500,000 school lunches. Took a life-changing coding course at the Flatiron School. And in 2019 stepped into Heidi Klum's iconic role as host of Project Runway. Off camera, Kloss was making bets on where culture was moving, backing a range of budding startups.
What I do with my capital is I invest in companies and ideas and people I believe in. I support issues that I care deeply about. Money is power.
Was there a moment where you decided, I don't want to be a model forever, and that you wanted to have a career beyond modeling?
Yeah. I think since I started this career, I've always been thinking about what comes after for a long time. I thought of it as a means to an end, to be able to make money, and then also to see the world. And not only that, be in the ateliers of the most brilliant creatives in the industry. I love walking runways. You don't turn that off. It's a part of who I am, but I think it's never been all of who I am.
You've bought Life magazine, you bought the fashion magazine ID from Vice, you led a group of investors to buy W magazine. What's the grand vision for Bedford Media?
Bedford is sort of taking this startup approach to these sort of heritage brands. I mean, Life is 90 years old. I think about it like we're running a startup inside a vintage car. Independent, small media should continue to exist. I have an incredible editor-in-chief at ID and the editorial team and the commercial team. My role is more like helping protect and grow the business. I just want to help, build better businesses around these brands.
A business model that everyone seems to think is dying, right?
For sure. I've said, I feel like I'm the person running into a burning building.
I mean, here's ID.
I mean, you own this magazine now. Can we just...
Not just this one for $12.99. No, I'm so proud of the fact that I am continuing this legacy.
Today, Kloss is taking us to New York City for a look behind the cover of Bedford Media, the company she founded with her husband, Josh Kushner. Bedford is built on a simple idea. Legacy magazines with decades of cultural credibility are worth saving.
Love a New York street.
Oh, this is a real one.
What magazines were you reading as a kid?
I don't think I was reading magazines until I was in them.
I mean, you were 13 or whatever when you started, so I guess, yeah.
But for me, magazines are the platform to tell stories, to show ideas, to showcase people. Yeah. It's not just to sort of continue to chug along something that I'm nostalgic about, but actually we consume more stories and information than ever.
I was thinking a lot about the Life photo archive, which is iconic. I mean, space.
American history.
Civil rights, right? There's some photos of you in there.
Yes.
What are the possibilities there?
The archive is incredible. Life was really the platform that showed what was happening around the world before we lived in such a globally connected, digitally immersive world. And so a photograph told a whole story about a person, about a war, about what was happening that you might not see in your day-to-day. And I think that, to me, like, that resonates so much. I mean, it's such a privilege to take a brand like that and to think about how to bring it to life today.
What is Life moving forward?
Well, Life magazine, you'll have to wait and see.
While the future of Life is still taking shape, ID Magazine is up and running in the heart of the Lower East Side.
There's a lot of things that are in the works right now. We just launched our spring issue. Fashion Month Madness just happened, and they covered it all. Come meet everybody.
Yeah. Hi.
This is Emily.
Thanks for having us.
Wait, I love these mics though. These
Ooh.
are, who runs around with these?
Kind of all of us.
Is this like man or woman on the street kind of a thing?
Yeah.
Hi, ID. Hi, ID.
Hi, ID. I'm Sarah, and I'm at the Prada show.
Hi, ID. My name is Bhavita Mandava.
We cover it all.
Yes, I love it.
It's true, the pulse.
What is ID's point of view?
Trish and Terry Jones founded ID. Terry Jones literally hand stapled the magazines himself, and he invented something called the straight up, which is the modern day sort of street style photography.
The media landscape is totally changed. There's digital, there's print, there's experiential, there's merch. What's the overall strategy?
I think to continue to innovate in all of these spaces and reach people where they are. I don't think that we're gonna have Facebook outcomes on this investment necessarily, but that's not my intention here. My intention is to build a really viable business, but to make really meaningful work along the way.
Maybe you're not looking for Facebook outcomes, but what do you see as the real business opportunity in an industry that has very challenging economics?
When we bought this business out of bankruptcy, we had to fully rebuild all pieces of it. The commercial business, the creative agency piece, the editorial team. The last 2 years have been sort of rebuilding the core business. And that really has been part of this thesis with Bedford is how can we build and run our website without a 100% tech team? How can we run and build, all parts of the business in a leaner, scrappier startup way? And that, candidly, is part of the advantage we have to a lot of the other sort of industry, because there's a lot of people having to lay off a lot of parts of these businesses because the business model can't sustain it anymore.
Who do you see as your closest competition right now?
We are our own competition. I'm not overly commercial about this either. I don't want to squeeze it to a point that it actually loses its soul. That would also not be success to me.
We're seeing the world's biggest billionaires also getting into media. Mark Benioff with Time, Jeff Bezos with the Washington Post, Elon Musk with X. There's a lot of anxiety about editorial independence. Who do you think is doing it right? And what worries you the most?
To me, that's been very clear from the start, is our editorial team has editorial independence. I think the intention, for me really comes from how can I support this artist colony, and not just in a philanthropic way, but actually how can I push it to grow and keep getting, smarter with the times.
Curating ID's soul with Kloss is Steph Yatka, ID's global editorial director. She's tasked with keeping the magazine on the cutting edge of youth culture.
What is Karlie's role day to day? How involved is she?
Every other job I've had, the person in her role is an old white guy. And so it's great to be able to have these conversations about the present and the future of ID with someone who isn't stymied by a conservative view of what media should be.
Everyone has content everywhere at their fingertips. Why do we need magazines?
Because we love them. We could have just made an Instagram, or we could have just made a TikTok, but I think the reason to have a print magazine is that it does mean it's forever. It will never be deleted from the internet. It is a physical object that is a record of what we thought was cool.
Kloss isn't just trying to disrupt media, she's also trying to expand who gets a seat at the table in tech.
Apply to Code with Klossy!
In 2015, she launched Code with Klossy, a free coding camp for girls, because who's in the room matters.
I am one.
What do you think is the value of reaching girls at that age, like 13 to 18, which is the Code with Klossy age?
Yeah. There's so many studies around why girls self-select out in math and decide that they're not good at math or STEM topics broadly. Long before 13 years old, we are creating a space to come participate in like the creative applications of code, especially girls that are not given access to these tools or they don't think it's for them. I'm so proud of our 12,000 alum, just over 70% of them who go into college major or minor in computer science. What I care about is that there are girls and women and people of all sorts of lived experience helping inform that technology at all levels. Josh, guess
Hi! How are you? Thanks for sharing her with us today.
That's Josh Kushner, Kloss's husband, founder of Thrive Capital, a venture firm that's backed Spotify, Skims, A24, Instagram, and is making a major bet on OpenAI.
You and Josh have been together since you were 19. I believe when you met, you were a lot more famous.
I always like to tease him. I was a lot more successful than he was when we first met.
You decided to convert to Judaism. Did you have any Kristen Bell, nobody wants this moments?
What the hell is that?
It's not us.
It's not? No. Oh my gosh, my friend's actually the writer of the show, and I texted her. I was like, girl, for season 2, 3, 4, I got more material for you. Like, call me. You know, I fell in love with somebody. His faith was a huge part of who he is, and I knew that from the start. And choosing that I wanted it in my life, I'm really proud of that choice.
As Kloss's personal life played out publicly, it drew no shortage of opinions.
Not even to dinner with the Kushners?
Totally.
That's your husband.
You're married to a man whose brother happens to be married to Ivanka Trump. How do you deal with everything that comes with that?
Well, I know who I am. I know the values that guide my life and the issues that I care about. So, you know, I haven't lost sight of who I am. But also, it's my husband's family.
What's conversation like at family dinners?
Well, we're sitting here in St. Louis, which is a blue dot in a red state. Since as long as I can remember, I've always been exposed to a lot of different political points of view. And I think that trained me for my life. You know, I'm a Democrat. I think it's possible to have relationships with people who you politically don't align with. And I think this country has always been a place for dialogue. We have to be able to talk to each other.
Have you had any conversations with President Trump about politics?
I have never met President Trump. We're trying to give Emily a taste of the best of St. Louis here.
We're eating a lot.
We're eating our way through, but I'll call you back.
All right, I'm with you. I'll speak to you later.
Okay, love you. Bye.
You've used your voice to platform causes that you believe in. You are very active around abortion rights, protecting access to clinics. You've been a Planned Parenthood escort.
People are traveling hundreds, if not thousands of miles to seek access to basic and life-saving reproductive care. And especially, you know, in a place like Missouri, you know, it's the first state 6 minutes after Roe was overturned. It had a trigger law that went into effect.
Where are you doubling down right now?
I've been here many times over the past few years helping fight for the ballot initiative. And we passed the ballot initiative for access to reproductive rights here in the state of Missouri. We're going to have to continue to protect it. This should not be political in my perspective. So I started Gateway Coalition, which we've helped move more than $4 million to little clinics across the country that are holding up access to care.
I feel like it would be so easy for someone in your position to not say anything. But you really are using your voice. You're speaking up. You're speaking almost louder. Do you feel like a pressure that you didn't necessarily ask for?
Listen, that's life. I made the choice a long time ago to, one, be with the person that I love, despite any complications that came with it. Two, not to lose sight of who I am in that. And three, to just continue to stand up for and fight for the things that I care about.
Karlie Kloss has spent her life proving some things just don't have to be mutually exclusive.
Oh my God.
And her hometown is all in, where there's a street and even frozen custard to back it up.
This is a big deal. Hi.
you still have a flavor named after Karlie Kloss?
We do. The Karlie Creek.
Is it still in action?
Yep.
Stop.
It's our chip and the granola.
I'm gonna have a Karlie Creek.
Make it 2.
How does one get a flavor named after them at a...
I honestly had nothing to do with it. It's the greatest accomplishment of my entire life outside of my children. For real.
Still rolling?
Yes, we're still rolling.
Okay, that's why we call them a concrete.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Josh.
We have to do it. Okay, ready?
Ready? Oh my gosh! There we go. The finest of St. Louis, everyone.
You accomplished so much in such a short amount of time. Like, what is the next chapter?
I feel very grateful that I started so young because I have lived so much, and I'm 33 years old, and I have 3 young children under 5 years old. I've worked so hard so that I can enjoy this moment in my life and be so present with them. Doesn't mean I'm like working any less, but I'm just hyper conscious of like wanting to enjoy this moment.
Well, here's to enjoying this chapter
Amen.
of your life and eating lots of ice cream.
Cheers.
Perfect.
Delish.
So I wanted you to put your Project Runway hat on.
Okay.
Along with your tech hat. I just want to get a few like style reviews.
Okay, yes. Give it to me. I mean, iconic. What can we say? Steve Jobs, like, invented the black turtleneck.
Okay, this is more of an evolution.
Oh yes, I think he's come a long way. He's living his best life and expressing that through fashion. Like, good for you.
Yeah.
I love that.
In or out?
Was it ever in? Yes. By the way, I think this is a Schiaparelli set. No, or maybe it was Tom Brown. Very stylish.
It looks like he was wearing the vest in the early days.
Well, you know, you're cold, but you want to have your sleeves out.
Palmer Luckey.
To each their own.
Right.
And that is the beauty of fashion.
Yeah.
Jensen just like is what a legend, truly. And like a style icon, like those leather jackets, man. Josh is that way. Josh wears the same thing every single day.
Since you mentioned it.
Yes, my sweet husband. He's got a great sweater collection. This probably is his.